So we have 3 weeks until Chapter 2 Season 3 ends. So I think it's about time to put together all my previous theories into the ultimate theory. So let's recap on all the things that have happened previously. First of all, we've got the Midas boat, which happened pretty recently, and it's basically a boat which is obviously owned by Midas, and as we can see, he's doing loads of radio equipment, so he's trying to contact someone. And secondly, we have the spacecraft, which used to be over there, and then we launched it into the sky, and now it's over here. On a quick recap of what's happened in the past, let's look to the future. So what's going to happen to the Midas boat in week 9? Well, my theory is there isn't going to be a map change at the Midas boat. However, whoever he's contacting will get a map change. For example, if he's contacting Coral Castle, Coral Castle will get a map change, etc. And I have 2 candidates for who he's contacting. He's contacting out of the 2 is Jules, and that's just because Jules is Shadow and Midas is Ghost, so it's kind of unlikely, but we have known them to have some kind of relationship in the past with the Doomsday device and stuff. So if there was a map change here, it would have something to do with the live event, but we're going to talk about the live event later. Meaning the most likely person he's contacting is Ocean or the Fortilla. So what is he contacting them to do? Rescue him, maybe? I mean, that's pretty likely, but another option I considered is he's telling them to raid the authority. So maybe next map change, if I'm right, battleships could start appearing going towards the authority. But yet again, that is pretty unlikely. So what does week 9 mean for the spacecraft? Well, there are leads for a new set of missions, so we're going to be doing missions again, like maybe collecting scrap, and then there's scrap around here. But one of the missions is stop launch. Now, why would we want to stop the launch of the spacecraft? Well, my theory is we will discover something that we shouldn't have. Here's what I think. The spacecraft is there, and the closest major location is the Fortilla. So it's probably going to be walking over to the Fortilla, suggesting there's a partnership between the Fortilla and the spacecraft guy. And we know Jules is on Team Shadow, therefore she does not like Ghost, and Fortilla equals Ghost. So maybe she wants to stop the spacecraft, and she tells us some kind of secret that makes us want to stop it. And now you're probably thinking, really? Really? How is that possible? That's not gonna happen. One response? Cutscenes! Yes, yeah, I know, I'm going crazy, but we don't have much information about it, so I just need to fill in some holes with terrible excuses. So I'm going with cutscenes for this one, because a bunch of voice actors have been hired, so this could be their chance to show off some fancy smanchy voice acting. Also, when we're collecting the scraps, it's going to be back inside the spacecraft for the cutscene. I'm just saying that just in case it happens, so I can say, I'm right! What I've just said is linking both of them. I said that Midas might be contacting the Fortilla, and the space guy is going to the Fortilla. So week 9 is most likely going to centre about the Fortilla, because we haven't got much about it yet. So, week 10, what's gonna happen? So, it's the second last week, so the most likely thing that's gonna happen is the beginning of the reveal of the live event. I'm not saying a countdown's gonna appear, but some kind of hint to the live event. Like with the Doomsday device, we've got those bunkers appearing around the agency, so maybe something like that could happen. Earlier I said that Midas is contacting the Fortilla to go evade the authority, and what would happen in week 10 if that evading of the authority theory is true is maybe they will break it up, and then because it's all broken we'll be able to see what the live event is going to be. That's a possible theory. We could maybe even get a countdown. Heck, the live event that week. After all, the live event doesn't always happen right at the end of the season. It could happen like a week before the season ends. So that brings me to my next topic. So here's a bonus thing I didn't mention in some of my previous theory videos, which is like some kind of timeline of Jules and Midas's relationship. So Midas needed to create the Doomsday device, but because everyone was joining Shadow, the only way he could get the Doomsday device is by kneeling at the hands of Shadow. So Jules made a deal if that Midas bowed down to her and gave her the agency so she could turn it into the authority, she would make the device. And she did, as we know. Jules made the device, but maybe she sabotaged it. She was the one who made it all go wrong. That's a possible theory. So let's get back to the subject of the live event. So what I think is there's going to be a Doomsday Device 2.0, as when Jules was building it, she discovered the simulation secret as well. So now she wants to break out too. So she's going to craft another Doomsday Device. And I'm not saying it's going to look exactly the same. It's just something that will break a rift in the sky like a rocket or something. A bonus theory for the live event is that she'll use the tech from the spacecraft to make whatever she wants to make. That's just a small theory. What will happen after the live event? So, there are 3 theories for next season. Number 1 is a space theme, and the reason why I think that is the spacecraft, and also that this whole map is called Apollo, so it could have some kind of space theme. But there is one thing to disprove that, and that's if the map is called Apollo, don't you think they'll have the space theme like near the end of the season as like the season finale? Well, I have another theory that they're going to do each season is going to be a different type of space theme. One could be on the moon and one could be on a spaceship. And I think how we will get onto this spaceship or the moon map is when we go back into reality and we get put back into the simulation, we'll get put back into a different simulation about the moon and space. The second theory is that next season will be about reality and the real world that we saw at the end of the Doomsday Device event. So what will happen there? Well, number 1 is going to be a lot more realistic looking, and number 2 is that it's going to have probably a bit more cities or a giant city, because they wouldn't be holding a giant cool simulation in some kind of bunker or hut. They'd probably do it in the big city. That brings up like the possible theory of it all being about an apocalypse or bunker. That'd be cool, but there's no evidence to prove that. But let's talk about that apocalypse theory. So this season was all about the flood and stuff, and it's going down, the water's going down. But why is it going down? Well, you can't see anything, but there's no evidence showing that it has stopped going down. It could keep on going down and down and down and down until it's just the map starts getting drained of life and it becomes a giant desert, and that's when the apocalypse theme happens and I'm going crazy. Yeah, I think you get the idea. So yeah, that's my theory for chapter 2 season 3.